Dear students, now we will discuss regarding how we are going to categorize the different types of people who work in the database system environment. The first kind of people are actors on the scene. They are the people who actually use and control the database content and those who design, develop and maintain database applications. They are known as actors on the scene. Then we have those who design and develop the DBMS software and related tools and the computer system operators. They are known as workers behind the scene. Now we will concentrate on actors on the scene. First one is database administrator. Database administrator plays a vital role in the development of database because he's having a responsibility for authorizing the access to the database, for coordinating and monitoring its use, acquiring software and hardware resources, controlling its use and monitoring efficiency of operations. Everything is dependent on the database administrators. Then below database administrators, we have database designers who work upon the instruction from the database administrators. Now we will see what are their roles. The role of a database designer is to define the content, the structure of the database, what are the constraints under which database has to work, and functions or transactions against the database, and how actually they are going to get the requirement is they communicate with the end users and understand their needs, then they develop a database. Then we have end users. End users, they use the database for queries, creation of the reports, and some of them update the database contents. End users can be categorized into four categories. First one is casual end users. Casual end users are the users who occasionally access the database, but they may need different information each time. They use a sophisticated database query interface to specify their request and are typically middle or high level managers or other occasional browsers. They are the people who belong to a middle or high level manager category. Then we have naive or parametric end users. They are the people who make up a sizable portion of database end users. Their main job function revolves around constantly querying and updating the database using standard types of queries and updates called canned transactions. These canned transactions, which are nothing but they are the things that have been programmed carefully by the developers of a database. Here we have an examples like bank customers and tellers who check the account balances and post withdrawals and deposits everything. Then apart from them, we have reservation agents or the customers for airlines, hotels and car rental companies. They check for availability for given request and make reservation. All these are example of naive or parametric end users. Then we have sophisticated end user. Sophisticated end users are the people who include engineers, scientists, business personalities, business analysts, and others who thoroughly familiarize themselves with the facilities of the DBMS in order to implement their own applications to meet their complex requirements. Whenever they require some application, then they themselves create the scenario and they go for having a database. Then we have standalone users. They maintain their personal database by using ready-made program packages that provide easy to use menu based, either they are going to make use of menu based or the graphics based interfaces. An example of standalone users are, they are like if you want to maintain your tags, then you might be having your own database. Then apart from that, if you want to have your own database of address book, then um, they belong to a category known as standalone end users. Then we have system analysts and application programmers. Together we call them as software engineers. We will see what is the role of system analyst. System analyst, they determine the requirements of end users, especially naive and parametric end users, and develop specifications for standard CAN transactions that meet this requirement. They are the people, analysts are the people who collect the requirements by having a communication with the end users, I mean the people who are actually using a database. And by collecting the requirements, they go for creation of the specification which will be developed by the application programmers. Application programmers, they implement the specifications which have been generated by the system analyst. System analyst, they will be generating the specifications and which will be developed by the application programmers. And application programmers, by looking at this specification, they generate the programs and they test it, debug the things, document the program whatever they have written, and maintain this CAN transactions. We'll see a note. Such analysts and programmers commonly referred to as software developers or software engineers. We call them as either software developers or software engineers. And apart from that, they should be familiar with full range of capabilities provided by the DBMS to accomplish their task. That is, they should be knowing for what reason DBMS is used, how actually it is used. They should be knowing each and everything so that they can have a good database. Now we will see workers behind the scene. Till now, whatever the actors we had seen, they were actors on the scene. Now we will see workers behind the scene. Workers behind the scene are nothing but they are the people who work in actually background. First set of people are DBMS system designers and implementers. That is, we want to create a database. If you want to create a database, then we require a DBMS software. And these people, DBMS system designers and implementers, they actually develop and design and implement the DBMS modules. That is, software they are going to develop. Right, and once this is developed, it will be used by the actors on the scene for creation of the various databases and all. Right. So here we have DBMS system designers and implementers. What is their role is? They design and implement the DBMS modules and interfaces as a software package. A DBMS is a very complex software system that consists of many components or modules. Whatever the DBMS system we are going to have, it is having lot of modules, which is a more complicated one, and including modules for implementing the catalog. Then apart from that, they develop query language processing, they go for interface processing, accessing and buffering of data, controlling concurrency, handling data recovery and security. Everything is a work of a DBMS system designers and implementers. Then we have tool developers. Tool developers, they design and implement the tools. We will see what are the different tools that are used in database. The tools are nothing but the software packages that facilitate database modeling and design, database system design, and improved performance. For all these things, we require the tools, which is developed by the tool developers. Tools are optional packages that are often purchased separately. That is, tool doesn't come out along with the DBMS package. They are the optional packages. That is, if you want to get them, you have to pay a different amount over there. Then you will be getting all these features. Then we have operators and maintenance personnel. They are responsible for the actual running and maintenance of the hardware and software environment for the database system. Now we will see what are the advantages of using the database approach. There are a lot of advantages. First advantage is controlling redundancy in data storage in development and maintenance efforts. In traditional software development utilizing file processing, every user group maintains its own files for handling its data processing application. If you consider an example of a university, then there might be many people who are collecting the same information, but slight different information is being stored. But they make use of different files, right? If they want to store information regarding a particular student, there might be many people who are involved in that. Then they will have their own files over there. Then when someone wants to update the file, then we have to update all the files differently over there. So this will be a problem which is controlled by this database. Then we have restricting unauthorized access to the data. Apart from apart from controlling redundancy, sometimes we have to have controlled redundancy. Controlled redundancy is we should allow some kind of redundant information to be stored. We will see in the further classes. Okay, next we will see regarding restricting unauthorized access to the data. Restricting unauthorized access is why it is required and when it is required. It is required when multiple users share a large database. It is likely that most users will not be authorized to access all information in the database. For example, financial data such as salaries and bonuses is often considered confidential. Right? It is a confidential information and only authorized persons are allowed to access such data. So we have to make use of a database which gives us security and authorization process. Then we have providing persistent storage for program objects. Whenever we are making use of any language, C, C++ or something, we are going to make use of variables, objects, all these things. Whenever we exit the program, whatever the value we had stored in a variable or objects, they are going to be vanished, right? But we are using a database because we want to store it permanently. Then whenever we are going to exit, the data should not be erased. It should be present, saved in the hard disk. So a database gives that advantage wherein we can permanently store the data and whenever we require the data we can get that. Then we have providing storage structures for efficient query processing. We know that when a database is being created and whatever the data we store in a database, it will be stored in a hard disk. And let us assume that we want to search something which is already stored in a database. Then there might, if you consider it as a very big database, then we'll be having many information over there. If you want to search for a particular thing, then it might take much more time. But we're using database because we want to get the information very quickly. So how actually it is possible is through indexing. Database it has its own indexing wherein whatever the information we are requesting for, it will be delivered quickly. Then we have providing backup and recovery. Backup and recovery is very important because a DBMS must provide facilities for recovering from hardware or software failures. Whenever there is a hardware failure or a software failure, there might be a problem with the database. The backup and recovery subsystem of the DBMS is responsible for recovery. For example, if the computer system fails in the middle of a complex update transaction, the recovery subsystem is responsible for making sure that the database is restored to the state it was in before the transaction started executing. That is, let us assume that we were in a process wherein we wanted to update some transaction. We wanted to have some complex query executed and it was updating some database. But either due to the hardware failure or due to the software failure, there is a problem and because of which whatever the transactions that were done, that has to be restored. Okay, we have to get the earlier version of the database. Then disk backup is also necessary in case of catastrophic disk failure. Whenever we have a disk failure, we should be having data stored in some other disk also, and which is supported by the database. Then we have providing multiple user interfaces. We know that we will be making use of many types of users with varying levels of technical knowledge. Use a database. A database should provide a variety of user interfaces. This includes app for mobile users. If there are any mobile users, they should be provided with apps as an interface, and query languages for casual users. then programming language interface for application programmers, forms and command codes for parametric users, and menu based interface and natural language interface for standalone users. So these are the different kind of interface which is provided by the database, and both form style interface and menu driven interfaces are commonly known as graphical user interface. Then we have representing complex relationships among data. A database may include numerous varieties of data that are interrelated in many ways. That is, you might be having a data in one table which is referred in multiple tables. So there will be a complex relationship between the various tables which has to be taken care very carefully, or else there will be a problem. Again, your database, DBMS, is having an advantage of having representing properly whatever the relationships are going to exist between the various entities. Then enforcing integrity constraints. Most database applications have certain integrity constraints that must hold for the data. We have constraints like referential integrity constraint, which is nothing but referential integrity constraint is nothing but when we specify one tuple, in that we'll be having one keyword, okay, which we are referring from some other table that should be present in some other table, then only we can refer it in some other table. So that is a referential integrity. We will see it in the further classes. Then we have key or uniqueness constraint, which is nothing but if I consider a table known as course table, in that course number is treated as a key constraint or the uniqueness constraint. That means those values should not be repeated in the multiple records. All these things are regarding the enforcing integrity constraints. Then we have drawing inferences and actions from the stored data using detective and active rules. Here we'll be making use of detective database system, wherein we are going to deduce something from the stored information. From stored information, let us assume that we have a table of a university. We have a database of a university, wherein we want to know like who are the people who are in the probationary period, all these things. And apart from that, we will be having a triggers. A trigger is nothing but it's a form of a rule activated by updates to the table. Whenever we are updating something in a table, which results in performing some additional operations to some other tables, either by sending a message and so on. There are a lot of things which we'll be seeing again in the further classes. And apart from this, we'll be making use of stored procedures. Stored procedures are nothing but the functionalities which are stored, and whenever we want to execute a set of instructions, just we'll be calling that procedure, and that does our work. And apart from that, we have an active database system, wherein whenever we update the database, then what happens is there are some active rules that are going to get initiated in the background, and they are going to update the some other table, or they are going to generate some events, and some conditions are going to occur. Then we will see additional implications of using the database approach. Those were the advantages of having a database approach. Apart from those advantages, there are a few more advantages. The first one is potential for enforcing standards. If you are making use of database, then what is the advantages? Here we can set the standards. Okay, standards like what kind of data item should be stored in a table, what should be the display formats, what kind of screens have to be taken care, then what kind of reports have to be generated, and how the metadata should be stored, web pages, layouts, everything is possible. Here we can set a standard so that everyone follows the same information, the same standard. Then we have reduced application development time. In the earlier days, what we used to have is we used to have a file-based system, wherein it was taking less time for developing an application. But if we go with a database approach, for the first time, if you want to develop any database, it takes much more time compared to the file based system. But once you have done with a database, a basic database, then if you want to add a new functionality, you can easily go for adding a new functionality incrementally. So incremental time to add each new application is reduced in database approach. Then we have flexibility to change data structures. Easily we can drop a table, or we can make a modification to a table, or we can change the data structure, data type. Everything is possible. Easily we can make use of DBMS facility for changing any content of our data. Then we have availability of current information. This is one of the important feature of database. That is, we can see what actually is the information currently. Extremely important for online transaction systems such as airlines, hotel, car reservations. Everywhere we are making use of a database. That is how actually it is used in an airline is, you want to book a flight from one country to another or something, then you can see the current status of a airline, whether the seats are full, or whether we have a particular airline at a particular instant of time or not. In a hotel, whether we have rooms available, everything is seen. The current information is seen through this database. Then we have economies of scale. Economies of scale is a wasteful overlap of resources and personnel can be avoided by consolidating data and applications across departments. Let us assume that we don't have a centralized database. Then what happens is, if I consider a college has multiple departments. Then if multiple departments have their own database, then what is going to happen is, they have to purchase different copies of a database for each department. Instead of this, we can consolidate the information and we can store that information centrally, so that we can go up with buying the devices like most powerful processors, storage devices of high capacity, or the networking gear, rather than each department purchase its own low performance equipments. So this reduces overall cost of operation and management. So these are the various advantages of having a database approach. Thank you.